Right, we're halfway through day 2. Game 9 has been completed. I want to talk about how these players are feeling mentally. How strong do you have to be in these moments as a player on that huge stage in front of this incredible crowd to stay calm, stay confident, and stay effective in your plan? We've seen so many teams switch things up on day 1, and I feel like we've seen less of that in day 2. We've seen teams that are sort of thinking about, you know what, let's just stick to our guns, let's just stick to what we know, and let's try and see if it works, right? We're seeing Cammy and Seti returning to low ground quite often as well, picking up elimination after elimination. I touched on their Storm Surge strategies earlier on as well, and these guys are looking really, really strong when they are in that position. I think they could take it all, you know. These are one of those teams that if they are getting those end games, if they're getting their consistency with this great Storm Surge plan that they have, they could definitely take it all. Of course, we talk about Queasy and Vino taking the high ground, but that is, of course, very relevant and very reliant, if you like, on their material management as well. So it's exciting back here. The hype is real. I can't wait to see what's happening next.
Thank you so much for that insight, Mini Miner. Once again, we've just had a little bit of a break, so if you're just tuning in, you're wondering what's going on, we've played 3 matches, we gave the players a moment to breathe. We had them step away, collect themselves, and now they are back. We will be getting into games in just a little bit. I want to turn attention to the standings. Queasy, Vino have maintained this lead almost all day, but Cammy, Seti, they are right there, man. They are in lockstep with this duo. They are looking, waiting for Queasy and Vino to make a mistake. Now, last game, we did see that. They finally said, high ground, we're sick of it. And they pushed them, and it worked. Now, this goes to go back to Mini Miner's point, though. They haven't been managing resources as well as they could be.
Exactly, but I love the fact that you mentioned that, you know, Cammy and Seti, quote-unquote, are sick of the high ground, because another team that was kind of sick of the high ground, even actually so much so that they love playing the low ground, it's Cold and Scented, and they were just running through the lobby throughout the low ground. 10 eliminations is what they finished that game number 3 with, and they're hot on the heels of that top 2.
And Cold and Scented, I think, have just been working very seamlessly with each other. You can really see this duo's chemistry come to light whenever they're playing through these first and second moving zones. And I think more specifically, Scented as well has really been surprising a lot of these other duos, just taking such aggressive instances that I don't think you would naturally expect those challenges right away, but it just doesn't seem as though Cold or Scented are willing to miss today.
And the teamwork is always there. This is one of the things that I am most impressed by when I watch these 2 guys play on NA East. You can see in almost every single highlight, pay attention, they are always doing the exact same thing. They know what the other person is doing. They know where that other person is at, whether they're going to get that shot in. And it seems like they always get that prime shotgun shot off at the same exact time collectively. It looks like 2 people just firing that shot at the same exact time every single time, whether it's an edit, whether it's piece control, anything.
It's about that synergy factor, right? This is kind of something we've danced around, I would say, over the past 2 days of competition, right? Some of these duos they've been doing as long as we can remember, right? Cammy, Seti. Some people have come together for the first time in this competition. For this duo in particular, they, to your point, are basically the same person. They act as a single entity, right? When we watch duels like Queasy and Vino, it's like, oh, I don't know, I gotta go take high ground, Vino, go down there and deal with it. For this duo, they're like, hey, we need to accomplish a goal.
Yeah.
Let's just go put our heads together and take that together.
And it works so well, especially when they get to that hot, or that low, I almost said high ground, that low ground position, because Scented has been playing it for so long. Go back to when he got multiple second places, so he himself,
están viendo el torneo de FNCS.
right now I think he's like 54 points behind. Definitely
La-
striking one game.
Solo esto voy a hacer stream solo de esto y después
And that's another thing that
voy a ir a
looking at the top
jugar
10
otro juego.
and even
Porque
seeing some of the players that are in those 11 through 20
ayer
positions, that there are so
tenía
many
que hacer
duos out there
stream
that we see in that top
y
10
el
who are chasing the prestige
corte
of
el
their
viernes
first championship
y
title
no
at
hice.
an event, and to
So
accomplish it here at the FNCS Invitational, one of the first in-person events that we've been able to witness in quite some time for Fortnite. It's just absolutely insane, and I can understand why these players are just so excited to continue the competition, to keep trying to showcase that this is what we've been grinding for.
I mean, just look at these emotions, right? These are just a handful of highlights from every victory royale we've seen. You can just see on their face. Well, unless you're Cammy and Senny, then yeah, Cammy's just like
single clap.
yeah. You know what? One clap. Boop. Another day in the office. I mean, we're starting to see a lot of familiar faces here, getting back-to-back victory royales or cumulative victory royales. Man, oh man, it just kind of begs the question: what the heck are we going to see in these last 3 games, man?
You know, game number, let me think, let me do a little bit, what was that, game number 9? Game number 9. So, Belusi and Hyjo, right, they were kind of tired of seeing Queasy and Vino up on the high ground, and they themselves were actually up there, so much so that they had it going into the moving zones, right, and then they lost it to Queasy and Vino. Who would have thought? But then they went for it again later on, so the battle was kind of continuing. That's something that Queasy and Vino are actually known for, so maybe they're stealing a little bit of a strategy out of their book, because I have seen Queasy and Vino actually lose that high ground on a multiple occasions throughout the invitational alone. It's like, a minute later, they're just back on that high ground. So I feel like that strategy where you kind of just let somebody take high ground.
Should we do the red one?
No.
And then just take it right back. That's something that Queasy and Vino love to do. However, like I mentioned, Hyjo and Lucy were the ones that brought out that game.
And they're not the only duo that's been aiming to try and keep that high ground level suppressed away from
And then just take it right back. That's something that Queasy and Vino love to do. However, like I mentioned, Hyjo and Lucy were the ones that brought out that game.
And they're not the only duo that's been aiming to try and keep that high ground level suppressed away from Queasy and Vino. It's just another kind of instance where we see Queasy and Vino, they're doing everything in their power to try and maintain. But again, we have seen them encounter some material issues. Their builds haven't necessarily been able to match their aspirations in terms of maintaining high ground for games 8 and 9. But heading into game number 10, whenever we do get to that instance after the players get their nice little break, have to keep in mind these are the players that I really wanted to kind of keep an eye out for the 11th through 20th, because I think Clicks and Duke, we've been seeing a lot of action coming out from that Fort Jonesy section. Pink and Nas especially. I mean, these are all names that we have been watching over the past couple of years, just making themselves known.
Yeah, and I really quickly wanted to turn attention to Thomas HD and Tripperin. We've watched the top 3 be unmoving to kind of start the day, right? Queasy, Vino, right? Thomas HD, Tripperin, and now for the first time, Cold and Scented have actually dethroned Thomas HD and Tripperin. And now we still have 3 games. Anything can still happen, right? But to see them finally kind of have that moment where they're like, oops, we were in top 3, we have to take a step back now to Cold and Scented. What are we hoping to see from this duo, right? Because they got the passion, they got the fire. That's why they're in your top 5. But this is a duo capable of winning it all.
So Cold and Scented aren't too far ahead right now, right? I think
it was like 3 points,
yeah,
4 points.
So consider maybe a little bit of a tie right now, right? Just have to have a good game out of Thomas and Tripperin. I mean, it was just one game, right? One slip up. I want to see them return to the form that they had in Game 7 and Game 8. If they do that, then I think that they're fine in terms of securing that top 3. Unfortunately, for the NA East hopers, it would be an all EU top 3 at that point. But, what can we hope for?
We still have to keep an eye out, though, for Hen and Vortex. It really seemed as though Hen is trying to remind everybody, hey, I was considered a kind of goated player for a reason, and his fragging potential has really been highlighted throughout these last couple of rounds. And I think especially getting 50 points in a single match on top of the Victory Royale, but it is unreal to think that he went back-to-back with strong Elam performances, because I don't think that a lot of people really had too many expectations for him. He's been relatively quiet, especially given everything that happened throughout the entirety of the last season, funneling into the FNCS Invitational. But here today, he just seems like he's alive again.
Yeah, for a lot of these duos, they're kind of thinking that, right? Last opportunity, 3 games. Let's just play with an open heart. Let's see what can be done.
For sure.
It is almost that time, so very quickly, don't forget, watch all the way to the end of the show for some FNCS news for Vanessa, Somerset, Nick, A30. We really appreciate y'all coming, hanging out with us, and giving us your insight. We're going to check in with MDF and Jacob really quickly. I want to hear from them.
Yeah, big shout out to the community coming together. I saw Bucky sending me some messages like, hey, get me on broadcast. I'm like, can I trust you, Bucky?
Everybody.
But, yeah, look.
Everybody's seeing the biggest stage, and they want to go ahead and take part of that biggest stage. But that's exactly what the atmosphere is like. Even everybody in the crowd knows this is one of the biggest moments in some of these players' careers. And it says a lot.
The way I see it is you should have gotten a flight and came out here and hung out and enjoyed this atmosphere.
I would have.
It is nothing
Yo,
like we
a mí me
have ever
encantaría de
seen
estar ahí,
before.
pero
One thing I also want to
yo
give huge credits and shout
no
outs
compré
to
los boletos
just
en
think about
tiempo
how well Europe
de ir allí
played.
y
One of
pues
the
me quedó de
questions
mirar de la
that I was
casa.
asking was, why is it that they have been so good? It's the practice. It's all the practice they put in over the last year. It's no surprise that European scrims have just been at an all-time high. And you have to shout out the Noble scrims, of course, for putting on these games for them, because it is showing off that they are doing very well now.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. And one of the always things that I've said throughout my career in general is you got to do twice the work to stay on top than you did to even get there in the first place. Because there's a thing that some people like to feel complacent. Oh, I achieved first place. I got my FNCS champion. Now it's time to relax. And no, that is actually the complete opposite, especially when you get invited to a global competition like this. There is nobody that is really going to give you any single chance.
And it's super interesting when we got to talk to the pro players. A lot of what they say is, hey, the way you improve nowadays, that what we do is actually we just play in creative. We just go head to head on a very frequent basis. But you're seeing now that, you know, playing those end game tournaments, really putting in the work in zone war-esque style tournaments. That's what we love about creative, is you can take it any way. That is some of the best practice you can use to start to hone in and become some of the best of the best.
Yeah, and you can even see like that practice that you're talking about, Queasy and Vino, time and time again, that 6 moving zone, that's when you can really count on them to really try to go ahead and take some of that height. But we can count on the Des to go ahead and hold us down with more information.
Thank y'all so much. Fantastic. As always, we're getting ever closer to starting game number 10. We're almost there. We're making sure we're checking that battle bus, making sure all players are on board before we kick off the last 3 games of the FNCS Invitational. My goodness, the crowd here has been electric. They've been cheering on the fans. You guys are allowed to be hyped. It's okay. There they are. They're awake. They're focused, just as focused as some of these players are. Vivid, I wanted to kind of ask you a quick question here.
Hay todavía más asientos disponibles. No, es que creo que mucha gente no ha ido. No, pues yo muy bien podía ir también, pero no fue.
What are your thoughts? Do we need to be even more aggressive? Do we need to maybe slow things down for the last 3 games?
You know, I tried to remove bias as the best I can. Sometimes, you know, it slips through.
Okay.
And this right here, this answer is going to be biased, because I was like, like I'll straight up tell you, I was like one of the most passive.
No, también ya salí del creativo y lo estoy viendo aquí desde YouTube nomás. Ya salí de ahí, todavía se ve que estoy conectado en Fortnite, pero lo estoy viendo por YouTube ahorita y estoy haciendo directo en YouTube y Twitch para que todos vean.
Sneaky little beam on somebody that is rotating one of these crazy other rotations, and maybe, you know, figure it out that way.
But at the topic's aggression, one thing that I love to see is that we have some of these newer duos, I think, as far as competitive experience is concerned, especially when it comes to playing at an in-person event. But Smite and Larson, they have been a duo that have been very open about how aggressive they want to be. They've been looking for that challenge up against Muslim Looter all day yesterday specifically, and now here today even. I think that we've still been seeing some instances between Smite and Larson, but at the same time, they just gotta be careful to not necessarily go too hot-headed into some of these engagements. But I think for the most part, their aim has looked pretty strong, and when you're on point, it kind of makes sense if you want to go all in.
I love the fact that you bring up that aggressive, because one of those games I was watching between Smite and Larson, and it was like but they were like 700 above, and you already know that they did basically all of that damage to Smite and Larson. So I have no idea how they're doing so much damage when there's literally only one duo around them.
Ahora sí lo pueden ver. Es algo así como de una solita japonesa y tiene el Goku enfrente.
I mean, it's just an incredible experience being here. Not really the question, but yeah, they're definitely nervous. Like going into these last 3 games, you know, they gotta like bring it all and keep it up.
Y bueno, voy a abrir en mi personal para que vean cómo que esto se abre.
So I mean, like, look at Hem. They started in like 40th place and they climbed all the way up today.
Okay.
So I mean, you just gotta like keep your mentality straight and not get tilted. And I think that's like the biggest thing. Like,
sacarlo de aquí y presionar aquí. Pero vamos a abrir.
Thank you so much, Blake. You are absolutely incredible. Never forget it. Now, I'm getting word we are standing by with Adam and Kelly. Hey.
No.
We have so much for you here, guys. We have had a lot of action thus far. 9 games gone, 3 to go. 27 countries, 7 regions. FNCS Invitational 2022. Only 3 games left.
Miren, pues ahora sí. Pongo así, y ahora sí. Uy. Y así ve. Y así se abre. Y esta luz como algo así. De ahí se ya está abierto. Está listo para más.
Yeah, the arena is just impeccable right now, waiting for the moment that we crown an FNCS Invitational champion. But we got
como que si fuera como limoncito, como limón, creo.
Sounds like it is ready. We get to gear up for game 10, and this is going to be an important game. We have had this extended break. They have gotten the chance to sit down and really strategize, think about the way they want to approach this next half, and it's all or nothing now.
Yeah, big change-up of zones from day number 1 to day number 2. But for some of these teams at the top, Trippin, Thomas, Cami, Seti, include at the top Queasy and Vino, nothing has really changed. They've stayed consistent through and through.
Logjam, siempre hay veces que yo siempre digo ahí.
Said in that interview, you cannot count anyone out. I bring flashbacks to Chapter 3, Season 3, NAEs, where Commander Avery started day number 2 in 9th place and had an ending of a lifetime.
That is right. Well, there are just 3
bueno, games que lo terminé ayer.
as we are now kicking this off. Mr. Savage and iDrop are going for an extremely wide split here, giving respect and distance to Onwon and Baka, who have had quite the day, if we do say so ourselves, putting up the performance. You can see they've really earned the respect here.
Sí, se puede poner subtítulos.
Of course, we got to talk to iDrop, and he all he had to say was, "Hey, I've been uncontested. I absolutely feel extremely confident here, but that has changed so far."
Yeah, with the FNCS Invitational, this is where.
No. Okay, and then mejor dejámoslo así.
He takes a huge amount of damage. Mero gets targeted. He is going to be the first one down from this.
Quería ver si que se puede poner subtítulos en español, pero no se puede. Si quería escapar y no lo dejó. Y de un solo lo murió. ¡Ay, está buga! Mi favorito. De que gana FNCS. ¿Dónde está? ¿Esa no es buga? Vaya por donde están buga. No, qué malos. Men, no ponen la cara de buga. O sea, ahorita no le importa a los de buga. No le importa buga. Oh, Looter también está del... Looter, ¿qué pasó con Looter? ¿No enseñan Looter tampoco? Está Looter. No, ese no es Looter. No, Looter. No vayas a morir. Bro. No me digas que Lord Smite da a matar a Looter. No, pero este no sabe. Looter, dale. No, ese no es Looter.
Meanwhile, I saw Vino find an Elim as well in the feed, so our first place team already picking up the pace as well onto Alice. Shots on the other side though, Muzz putting up a great defensive attempt here, but Larson is hurt. Not looking good for Smite and Larson right now, Jacob.
Yeah, he's trying to backtrack, box to box, that individual fight. They want to bring it back to the duo. They don't want to let one
Looter.
really decide everything.
Eso, Looter, sí. Eso, no. Looter, cúrate.
To really back him up and stabilize right now for Smite and Larson are doing everything they can to fight back from the low ground.
Not looking too hot right now from Buzz.
Howard, Looter.
Starting to roll on the heels there as well for a second.
Ese Looter es el que estaba mirando desde antes. Ese sí sabe jugar, es buenazo. Es increíble que él use el Looter. Bueno, no se considera en español, pero sí sabe jugar muy bien.
There have been such surprises, great surprises this weekend that have been revealed for us.
Yeah, you can see this one being another prolonged fight.
Oh, Looter. Tiene altura.
Trying to go ahead and get their own Storm Surge, so it's not going to be a worry later on in the game as Larson and Smite trying to fight around, keep control of the pieces. Looter doing what he can. See flashes coming out. A lot of their resources, Monster, being used very, very early.
Yeah, definitely. You can see they're going to double down, start to farm up some material here. This will make a difference. Larson going for the wall take. Has to be careful. That is a 2v1 peak. This is one of the most dangerous things you can do, but there it is. Smite comes from the side there to back him up. Wasting no time there to fight back. Meanwhile, U3 start to step on in.
Looter! Looter!
Out of their drop spot a little early. Smite recognizes what's going on here, and all of a sudden Larson also doubles down on the defensive maneuvers. Everyone will possibly have to get out of here now. Yeah. And even then, I think there's an additional team putting their attention into the mix. There it is. Shots from up above.
Yep, that's our team from the Copenhagen Flames. That's Pablo, Wingbu, and Swag.
Wow.
They didn't have the best day number one, but looking to have a great day number two. Shots being fired on the Larson. Pablo picking up that elimination. And this is where it's going to get hectic because everybody also still has to rotate south to zone. And Bevy's in the elimination feed. He did take down Booga.
No, Booga.
Getting dropped by Baca, the NA West duo,
no.
rising to the top of day number 2.
Yep, so fights are starting to conclude now. Tayson finds Aqua as well, so all of our contested drops are leaning towards a conclusion. KBR and Zeke, KBR by himself right now, our 5th place team currently in the back half here. Already has a big task in front of him. It's making up the points and much tougher one. We get to see how Booga was actually eliminated.
No, Vortex, eliminaste a Booga. No, maldición. Qué asco. No way.
As the dust settles, and you can even see what their plan is. They know some action is down there, and they too want to take part. Their early game aggression on the back of
Uy, se han puesto los skins que no me gustan. Ay, no. Esos skins de superhéroe no me gusta para nada. Son muy tramposos.
Current positioned NA East team. Cold is now by himself. This is a problem. The full thirst has already happened. This is a tough spot to be in for our young player, Cold. Cold, who has just had an exceptional year, being picked up by Sentin, playing alongside one of the greats in our space, and trying to work his way up, earn his stripes throughout this scene. They are in 3rd place coming into Game 10, and what a position to be in to represent for your entire region.
And if there's any pressure right now, it is solely on Cold's shoulders to stay alive. I said early on that at this point in time, with how stacked the top side of the leaderboard is, you cannot afford to have any sort of bad game.
Thatch, Pam still fall there too. Joe and Z Andy just looking around. NA East is getting chopped out of this lobby.
Sí. Estoy viendo por YouTube nomás. ¿Quieres streamlo para que veas un ratito? Está en inglés, pero por lo menos puedes ver porque no hay manera que en el mismo de YouTube no hay manera para que lo ponga subtítulos en español, solo queda subtítulos en inglés.
trying to get these angles. They spot Epic well at the top. That's going to be one shot to kind of add to the total for them. As when it comes to loot, when it comes to positioning, they're not in such a bad spot, but they're also not in a spot to really find tag after tag. There was only such few teams near them actually in Tilted.
One of the best things we've seen from Thomas HD and Tripper in this weekend is that they have been probably the most malleable team, the most flexible team. Great tags here. Tripper manages to land on a rotating duo just in the distance there, but it just shows you they play so dynamic, zone to zone. There is no same strategy, but they execute, and they've been executing all day long.
Consistency is key, and right now, see Clicks and Duke going over towards Shimmy Shrines. They got a knock-in elimination onto one, trying to hunt down that solo. Jace is going to be that guy. And on the other end of him is Pink and Anas, the other team from Fort Jonesy. Duke gets the piece control, going right in, trying to take down Jace. Who's trying to play the defense right here. Backs down just enough.
Piece control, nunca he pensado de hacerlo en Fortnite. Un día me gustaría intentarlo. A ver cómo. Porque sí creo que un día yo hago todo eso lo que se puede hacer en Fortnite, de piece control, puntuación y todo, mejor puntuación, pues lo haré lo mejor, pero eso es lo más que hay que practicar.
You're not really getting too much damage on Storm Surge. You're not getting the best loadout. You're forced to kind of either look for tags or look for any sort of some resources. Clicks, spotting out the tags coming from the bush, tries to fire back, not being able to connect with anything. But Duke, once again, trying to push up. This team is in complete focus mode, trying to take control of their destiny, shoot to the top of the leaderboard. That is exactly what they have to do as the games are coming to a close.
Algo aquí que tiene aquí. Sé cómo se llama esto.
The play to go ahead and get out and play for the reboot, play for the pickup. There's a med kit. He's got well timed information of this entire area. Look at that. Scented will be rebooted. Our third place team have a chance in this game.
Por eso amigo, bro. No lo hizo.
But hold that thought. Middle East has arrived. Falcon Spy and Bravado Focus is just nearby. They will absolutely know there's a player at the reboot.
Oh no, eso es horrible cuando saben que hay un
Spy opens up and now it's his time to shine here. It's his moment. This is the first fight we get to see him kick it off. I've watched him in creative. He is
Storm Surge. Odio con eso pasa que
is a scrappy player like Spy and Focus here looking to fight back a huge 100. Cold puts down Focus though in a great fight, and Cold is 1v2ing here as he only has a little bit of loot set to find something in the distance, comes back to support, and he's here.
Mató a Falcon. What? No way. Increíble.
Scented and Cold do it again. They have an entire region on their shoulders. So make sure we show them some love every single time. But for KBR, doing it for Brazil, 138 below the damage threshold for him. Getting that reboot if he tries is not going to be enough because so many teams are around. He needs to get damage all at the same time. His options are slowly closing.
Man, no. Las opciones ya no fue.
Just yet, but let's look at KBR here. He needs 160 damage to get safe here. He's only bound 30. You need big tags. You cannot miss these. That's huge. There it is.
Craqueadísimo tan.
Very nice. He sees another team in the distance. And look at this, turning up when it matters most.
Doing just enough. Tag by tag, not getting too greedy. This is huge. 29 more, only 28 below. Top of the Medmus, just trying to top himself off. The shots continue to get landed. KBR doing everything that he can, but you can see the numbers jumping, lowering in this lobby. Everybody taking part, but finally, the dust settles just enough. 2 above the damage threshold.
Se trabó la
bola. Any tag, he would be hundreds below the safety line there. But instead, he gets active, he does enough. Cammy and Seti in a zone fight. This could be a defining moment. EU versus Asia now. Peppo and Runa absolute savages. You know, what we've seen this weekend is that Asia can hang with the best of the best. Do not count them out.
Can't count them out. Can't count them out at all, but it almost makes me wonder, are they suffering the surge? The Chase out of nowhere, trying to enter into the Fae. Basil was lost long ago, but Jace finally goes down. Peppo's going to be able to clean that one up. But Sammy, Cammy, and Seti getting the top once again. 657, finally leaving their drop spot. Literally on replay right now after every single game.
And this is what they do best now. They will play extremely passive. They don't need to do much. They will be fine damage-wise. All they have to do is focus on positioning. That will be the name of the game.
Posición. Siempre que ver pues. Sí. Siempre tienes que ver dónde tienes que ir. En Fortnite tienes que saber todos los mecanismos, todo, o sea, todo lo básico. Siempre tienes que saber todo. Eso es cierto.
And Bad Sniper knows somebody is under pressure outside. Now not only hear the storm surge, but see the shots getting fired off in the distance. Ed,
no, es un caos.
I think King is going to try and go for it. But Noah Riley and Bad Sniper are going to be the gatekeepers for them if they look for an exit.
What's crazy about that is Noah Riley and Bad Sniper have no idea.
Y bueno, con esto, las cosas aquí, siempre esto se abre. Con esta,
take a look at how Vino picked up his elimination.
Just
boxes up Janice like it's nothing and takes him right out the lobby. Look at his face. He knows for a fact that was a huge elimination, and he made it look easy.
If anybody is full of confidence, it is Vino, 100%. You ask him who the best player in the world is, he's going to point at himself with 2 fingers, and honestly it would be more.
Avery. Avery está jugando también, ese es un buen jugador. Luro no lo veo. ¿Qué ha pasado con Luro?
Team from NA West, scrappy as can be, and that's why I kind of looked at them as a very under the radar team.
What a crazy reaction time there from Thomas HD to defend off Snacky Speak. He saw Thomas HD swinging a little there.
Tampoco no sé quién será.
Remember, he survived the storm surge with excellent tags and
¿Qué? ¿Cómo este sigue vivo?
not have a reboot card to save his teammate, and now he has to rotate out. But we've seen some interesting stats. When you actually pick up your teammate, you have, believe it or not, lower chances as far as the stats go to place higher, and that's because more often than not, you are worried about splitting your loot.
Sí.
Chances. So he actually has a great odds right now, just playing by himself, play his game, play to the best of his ability.
Yeah, it's all about those solo points that you can get here in Game 10. And Sent It and Cold coming back from the depths. That play Cold, if anybody can do it, it is going to be him.
Clix juega muy bien también. Pero espero que no lo vayan a eliminar.
You see it right there, 247 points in 3rd place. They still have a gap to close though, Monster.
And they are doing just that. I mean, they picked up those 2 elims on Spy and Focus. Again, you don't see a team get rebooted and just find points like that. This is an incredible situation that's unfolding for Cold and Sensed, like giving quite literally a second chance in this game here. But you have a zone that's going to start to play out now. Things are going to begin to constrict. The zone pulls east, and this is going to favor Cold and Scented perfectly. Cammy and Seti are already here as well. It couldn't get any better for them.
I like Cammy and Seti right now. Dust is settling. They're not getting overly aggressive, letting these opportunities naturally present themselves as they're gathering all that information. Walks Robab in the distance, followed by Merstash and Malibu, who are a little separated. And in Vortex as well, looking good. 4 eliminations. Got to be feeling pretty confident when it comes to Storm Surge, especially since you're landing even more shots as players fly through the sky.
Showing you what that hammer assault rifle can do once you let it rip. 2 of them in hand, big damage.
No, pero ese Hammer Assault Rifle, uy no. Ese sí quita vida desde aquí hasta de cerca, a veces quita vida.
We're trying to make up that day number 1, trying to kind of bolster their position as Merstash gets one as well. Avery and Commandment under pressure. They had a victory royale the day yesterday, trying to replicate that success today, but they become the focus of the lobby. All directions now joining in, but luckily for them, they have so much position here, so much control of these pieces, they can back out and still be safe.
I need someone to send Avery a tweet and just ask him, how does he play leaning with that posture? I'm so confused.
He's just chilling. He's vibes right now.
He is fully invested into the game. But here's Quito, the P8's in. 300 above the surge and a very long rotate in front of them. Can they find a launch pad? Do they have something to work with here to get out of this spot? Little loot split for them.
Make sure everybody is good. Queasy and Vino looking like they got another elimination onto Alice, bringing their total to 4 in this game alone. Trying to run away with it, trying to build themselves the biggest cushion possible going in to what could be a big game number 12. And even though we didn't see it on screen, but let's see how Vino was able to get that kill.
He just continues to add more and more here. Adding up, Alice is gonna fall there. And it happens once again. Here it is, the half in, half out pulls far east. Cammy and Seti pull half in, half out. Are they destined to take it all away? Can they swing their way back over? Will it be Cold and Censored? They're one of the few there as well in the conversation here. Vico and Mirai need to do more. 14 above is not going to be enough. He's going to slide right past Avery and Commandment. This is dangerous territory to be in. We all know you don't want to walk past enemy builds like that, but luckily they do not swing open, not worth the risk.
But if anybody's ready for that dangerous territory, it's Vico and Meringue. From the start of the game, every single game towards Reality Tree, they get busy very early and they're looking for the shots, looking for that piece control. And you see that duo that was once there, they just completely abandon that position. They don't want to risk it all too early in this game.
Macwood and Kanata on high ground. This is what we love to see. You know, you put them in a lobby like this, you expect a couple of games, maybe one, maybe two, to go this way. This is a high ground team. Now, the problem of today, or this weekend, has been these high ground teams haven't made it. We've only seen Aqua in a few end games, and whenever he is there, he's going for it. We've only seen Kanata maybe once or twice make an end game. Now he's going for it.
And you know what time it is right now. You know what time it is, right? 6 moving zone. Got them on the big screen. Queasy and Vino, this is where they typically always, and I mean always, at least try to make a play for the high ground. And I feel like they have the most success in the lobby so far when it comes to making those plays happen. But Sentin and Cold talked about the position they are. 3rd place on the leaderboard. Thomas and Tripper just a little bit above. 453 when it comes to that damage threshold for them. The only focus is getting to the end zone.
But their loot looks great. The launch pads in the inventory, they have everything they need. Queasy and Vino are playing such an interesting strategy. Late from behind, they try to swing all the way on in, and that is such an interesting way to play this one out, because what they want to do is allow the zone to pull very, very far, give them room, and then time that entrance. It puts them in a prime position to start eyeing and sizing up high ground. But Sentin, Cold already there, beating them to the point. Someone lands in the box, and Cold is possibly there to defend. Yes, he's still there. It's Avery who tries to land.
No, Avery, no, eliminado.
Close in on him like a Venus flytrap as Queasy and Vino. They've done it yet again. They have that portion of the high ground, but you see they're staggering Vino back, wanting to let nobody get any opportunity to try to steal it away, and the only person that does gets taken down almost immediately, adding to their elimination total.
They're making it look easy. Seti and Cammy now also very much positioned to make another big endgame. 15 duos remaining here. Thomas HD and Trippin still have so much left in the tank as well, but they get broken down. Oh no, a great block there though. They were just one build away from potentially getting taken out the lobby. Too much shot starts to come in now. The focus is here.
Dale.
Thomas hits the launch pad. He swings past high ground, and Queasy and crew. And there it is. Trippin falls. Thomas is now by himself.
They're trying to go for the high ground right now, but Chappitt's is shut down. But Tayson's having to do it by himself. But Queasy, he's going to abandon it for now. Vino's going to follow suit. Shots coming in. This is huge. Chappitt's goes down, though. The refresh and the siphon is absolutely important. Tayson trying to break into the box, but he goes down. Vino and Queasy will not be denied.
And this is why they're some of the best. He was there to back him up, and it works out so well. Bevies and Vortexer from contesting Bugha and Miro at the drop, running them out of Chonker Speedway, now running it up to the high ground here in an endgamer, looking like they want to take home their first victory of the weekend.
Down goes Vino. Down goes one member of the first place team.
To the hands of Cammy.
This is a chance right now for teams to try to overtake that top spot, and one of them is going to be Thomas HD as a solo, doing everything that he can, try to move through the builds. He has enough resources to make it happen, but Queasy, no build to his name. 1v1 against Drew, but he gets taken down thanks to the storm.
And Thomas HD is still alive right now, clutching, which is so monumental as first place has finally fallen. They have a chance to earn some points here. Cold and Scented are still alive as well. Thomas HD needs to make up 15 points in order to close the gap here. Scented needs 30. That's a huge jump up. Cammy and Seti are also still alive right now. On the heel, so close. Cold and Scented don't want any of it, and they back him off.
There's more than enough points if Scented and Cold can keep up this pace, keep up this pressure for them to have a shot at the last game at the end of the day, but Cammy will not be stopped as well. Thomas HD goes down, Seti gets dropped, but Cammy knows he can't be the hero in this situation. He has to try to continue on without him, but he finally gets dropped. Thomas HD is on a roll.
He's done a lot, but you can't fight yourself out of that spot there. Clicks and Duke are alive. Scented and Cold are alive.
Clicks está vivo. Yeah. Clicks. Oh, nice. Muy buen jugador.
From Vortexer, and the finish now. Bevies slides his way down, painting the loop here. Does a couple edits there, but no, doesn't hit the shot. Bevy is so quick, but not fast enough. You're going to get some of the best of great low tag there from Duke.
This is huge. This is huge for Duke and Clicks. They have the high ground right now, but for Bevy and Vortexers, taking out some big names already on the day, using these builds to try to keep that advantage. Duke, he's in a fray. He ends up on top. Clicks and Duke can take the game with Vortexers.
Dale, Clicks.
Bevy outside of zone. He has the only chance right now, but he gets the down on the Duke. Clicks versus Bevy. He's trying to go for the hill.
Clicks, Bevy. Clicks y Dukes, eso. Eso, muy bien, muy bien, muy bien.
Throughout each and every moment, they finally got the chip off their shoulder, taking the victory royale in game number 10. They gotta be feeling good. They gotta be feeling like they have nothing to lose at this point.
And all that matters is that they managed to show us what they can do against some of the greats. Let's go ahead and get a word from them.
Thank you so much, MDF. I am joined here by Clicks and Duke, and my goodness, it is better late than never, grabbing that VR in Game 10. How you feeling, Clicks?
We're feeling good, you know. We struggled at the start, but we finally brought it home, you know, so.
And Duke, Duke, when you're watching Clicks in that final moment after you go down, what's going through your mind?
I was just hoping that he had more whites because he got the siphon from the full kill, and then I heard a pump shot and he won.
Clicks, I don't know if you heard it, but the audience went absolutely insane. Let's do it again, guys.
Sí, dale, Clicks, que no Clicks.
Their support's crazy. I'm the best fans by far. Just look at them in the crowd.
Congratulations, guys. 2 more to go, and let's head on back to the desk.
Massive congratulations to Duke and Clicks. Clicks fans, rise up.
There it is.
That moment where it's the 2v2, we are literally sitting here going, this is literally where you want to be, Clicks. This is what you're known for, is being put in these situations. Now is your time to shine, and so masterfully handled from Clicks and Duke.
Those head-to-heads, they're so easy for them. I loved watching this endgame because we were like, oh my gosh, Cammy and Seti are going crazy. Oh my gosh, Tom and JD at the top of the leaderboard. And then we went to that wide, and all of a sudden, Clicks and Duke are on the low ground, looking healthy, and right here,
okay, I'm watching the
so clean. Of course, Duke takes the brunt of the damage right there, ends up going down the Bevy. Clicks is so smart in these endgame 1v1 situations that he recognizes this player could potentially have heals. He hears the splash to go up, makes the push for it, and the little mantle cancel right there and gets the shot off too. So clean.
That was just an absolutely disgusting clutch moment though from Clicks. He saw the work that Duke was putting in as well to take the brunt of that damage like you mentioned.
No quiero dejar el directo mirando ustedes ahí.
Such a clean finish here, and I think that that's really a moment for Clicks especially that is going to permanently be in a highlight reel for him.
That's right. We're going to talk about more of these duels in just a moment. But first, we have Adam, who is standing by with Cold and Scented.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Let's give it up for Cold and Scented! Cole, we're going to talk about the clutch up earlier on. You rebooted, then you suddenly find FKS and Spy coming through. You managed to stay in the game. The crowd went wild. Walk us through that one.
I don't even know. Scented had flew to the Coney vault.
Yeah.
And I kind of they just caught me alone as a solo, and I just kind of tried living. And I had no more mats left, so I kind of just had to fight, and I ended up winning.
You did. And obviously, you know, that now puts you in a great contention now. You're currently 3rd in the leaderboard right now, 44 points off the top. You guys, 2 games to go. You must be feeling confident here.
We're feeling good. We're locked in. We're just going to play our games and see how they go, honestly.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Cole and Scented, everyone! While I'm here too, give it up for Noah Riley and Bad Sniper!
Noah Riley.
You guys are currently sat in 7th. We haven't talked to you much this weekend, but what an incredible display thus far with 2 games left.
I want to get top 5 at least, and then I'm happy.
Top 5 seems to be the target. Are you feeling the same way, Pastor? What do you guys do now with 2 games left? How do you manage the next 2 games?
I mean, we just have to do the same thing we did the last games, keep consistency, and it will be fine.
It'll be fine. Yeah. It'll be fine. We're very chill over here, Zeke. Back to you, buddy.
Hey, you know, just keep it fine. Everything's fine. That's what I like to hear, personally. My goodness, this game, though, game number 10 of 12, was absolutely insane. I think the big kind of overall storyline for me was Queasy and Vino, right? Then their kind of counterpoints, Cammy and Seti, right?
Yep.
And what was interesting to me about this was actually, for a long time I was sitting here thinking, yeah, Cammy Seti versus like Queasy and Vino. It's actually a Cold and Scented versus Cammy and Seti tournament that's happening here. Queasy and Vino are just kind of like happen to orbit around both of them.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I think that so far, you know, we do have 2 games left, but I think Cold right there in that 1v2 situation, that's got to be like the play of the tournament so far for me. Literally keeping their contention for 2nd and 1st place alive right here. Look at this. FKS and Spy coming in. They're trying to get these sneaky shots in. Cold literally is in a 1v2. If you look at the minimap in the bottom right, Scented is so far away. So this is literally like a straight up 1v2, and Cold ends up finding both eliminations. Beautifully handled right there.
Oh, look, his name might be Cold, but he just absolutely lit FKS and Spy on fire with that display. I don't even know where they came from, because that reboot ban was literally the bat signal for those 2. They were full on expecting a prime opportunity to try and snag a quick and easy elim, probably look to clean up the other part of the duo in the process, because I don't believe they had any idea that it was specifically Cold and Scented in that instance. But it's that momentum shift that I was asking for during the halftime break. That was a primary example of one of those instances, because as soon as that took place, you could just feel a change in the venue, and you could definitely see it in Cold and Scented's gameplay. And the fact that they went from needing a reboot onto Scented to a literal 3rd place finish for this matchup, that's awesome.
Absolutely, and if we look at these standings, Queasy and Vino still holding strong. They are the I would say the end game boss of the story we're telling here, but Cammy and Seti are actually the secret boss to this story, because they have been single-handedly shutting Queasy and Vino down for games now. It was in fact Cammy that actually knocked Vino out in that game and kind of put Queasy in that difficult situation of like, okay, what do you do now? You don't have your silver bullet, and now there's 2 of us.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, Queasy and Vino, I don't know how they do it. It's like every single time we're in that end game around 5th, 6th, in that first movie, it's like I'm almost guaranteed to look up towards height and see them up there. They have gotten it seems like every single game. And it's not like it's just like a repeat of strategy. It's something different every single time. I beg to question, is anybody even like looking up in the skies for these guys at this point?
I think that's just an attestament as well, though, to Queasy's IGLing capabilities, and the fact that Vino himself can also kind of fulfill that role, even despite the fact that he's an insane fragger at the same time. But going a little bit more in depth there with Queasy, I think it's kind of cool to see, because he is definitely someone that is definitely a little bit more emotional, but at the player frustration level, mental fortitude becomes so impactful here, and we've seen him make a comeback before.
That's right. That is 3 games. This means we have 2 left. Here we go. Let's send it on over. Monster D-Face, Jacob PR, prep us for game 11.
That's right. We have the honor to call all the action. We're starting to get into the final moments now. I do want to give so much credit as well to Avery and Commandment representing as the last NAE's FNCS finalist champions. But here we have it. Game 11, Jacob. It's here.
And the pressure is on for some of these teams that are looking to call themselves champion, looking to get the lion's share of the $1 million prize pool, a trophy that have never been seen like this before in Fortnite, and then that chance to call yourself.
I quiero ver algo que no sé. Mirámoslo desde Twitch más para que mantenemos nuestros se activó esta vaina. Está muy alta. Vamos a ir a Fortnite. Uy, ¿por qué tan bajo? Ahí está.
Save his teammate here and does of course get the siphon as well. Material is more important though because if Vortexer pushes up, he's got everything to gain here.
Really nothing to lose at this point. Bugha trying to will themselves back into this one.
Ahí está Bugha.
Saving the play for now.
No, Vortexer que le da.
Wanted to get that one, give it up to Vortexers. That's 2 more points for them.
Bugha, cúrate.
Trying to go ahead and get his shields up as well, trying to get as many mats as possible. He knows the fight is inevitable, and the shot's going to be landed. Bugha, back to back, looking to clean this one up. All he needs is one more shot. But he's going to find this moment to breathe and stabilize before he goes at it again.
It looks like we will see all of our faves start to have their moment here. Bugha does need to, of course, finish it now, and he does. And there it is.
Eso, Bugha, eso.
Swings back to Bugha and Mira.
Dale, Bugha.
Finally go down there, but it's not going to be any trouble for Bugha to get that reboot back up. Vico and Marine, though, trying to sneak their way towards the bottom. Catch, retake, and Novice off guard, but Bevy and Vortex is down altogether. 6th place, 212 points. That's going to be a chance for some of these teams that are outside of that top 5 to try to jump right in it and out past them.
That is crazy. They had such a great game prior, pushing them so far up, and now all of that zapped away. Momentum gone. Hits the reset. All down to now just 1 more round. And that's something else to think about. Every engagement, as you get sent back, the players have to sit there, wait for the next game, and start to formulate a plan for their last chance here at the FNCS Invitational. But first, of course, you have to get through this one right here. Vico and Marine playing so smart here. Last round, they were taken out a little early to the hands of Retake and Novice. Not something we've seen too many times before.
Looter, vamos, también.
By On1. And Larson and Smite still fighting here. They've lost so much momentum as well in the back half of the tournament.
This could be the key, though. This off-spawn fight right here could be the key that unlocks what we've seen yesterday. That potential we know they have. As they're just trying to go ahead and stay towards the low ground right now. Stay in a position that they think is advantageous to them. The shot's coming in on the side from Looter, trying to take that piece control over. He peeks through. Looter gets out just in the nick of time. You can see them with that bubble shield flirting with the opportunity.
Let's see it play out. That bubble shield will influence how it's going down. Let's see if Smite's gonna find a huge tag there onto Looter. It's gonna buy him a little bit of time here. Now remember, Smite was in top 5 before the last 2 games were pretty tough, and now he's fighting all the way, and he bucks him up. It sends him right back to the lobby. We'll see you later, Muzz. We'll see you in the last game. Smite is here,
Looter,
and he's not
no,
messing around.
Looter's doing what he can. Lands a good shot, but The angles right now, everything is going to be cleaned up. Larson and Spike trying to replicate that success of day number 1 and bring it here to day number 2 as we check on board. Retake and Novice, they were able to catch Vico out. Wow. Enough sneaking around, they tell him.
That's going to slip them down further and further for Spike.
¿Esta es la última? Ah, no, penúltima.
No, penúltima. 320, 308, 200. Ahora hay más gente peleando, güey. Más quedan 84.
Es verdad. Sí, hay mucha gente más peleando. No me considero malo. Son mis propias manos y mi miedo va. No muy nada, con la K47. Poloto, gracias por 5 meses. Y Bolillo, gracias por 24 meses, 2 años, viejo, muchas gracias, pan. Monaco, gracias por 16 meses. Siento que tú le prestaste dinero a los de Epic para realizar este evento. Sí, güey. Ya me lo deben. Dani Balbuena, gracias por 11 meses. Güey, no vamos a alcanzar a jugar Valorant.
Ya sé, güey. Vamos a alcanzar a jugar una.
Más bien no vamos a alcanzar a ir al evento, güey.
Es cierto, güey. Por estar jugando Valorant.
Vamos a llegar 1 hora tarde, no hay pedo.
Chilete, si tú no fuiste, yo tampoco no fui, pues. Yo tampoco no fui. Era mucho que... Yo tanto que estaba buscando los piquets. Desde ahí también para que vaya mi mamá, para que vea lo que me gusta a mí. Pero pues no los compré a tiempo y ya pues ya hoy es el último día.
Y no tengo las expectativas altas. Para Fortnite.
Hen and Vortex are in 5th now as well, 230 points picked up.
Así es, Heider.
A great day 2 showing so far for Hen and Vortex here to put them back in the game. Trippin and Thomas not too happy about that last game. They've gone from 2nd to 4th, falling slightly earlier than their counterparts. So everyone else starting to really pick up when they're letting things slow down. Meanwhile, Picking and Nas still in a fight right now.
Drops activos, pero no veo los drops activos.
Might be giving themselves a little bit of distance as Jason crew who land at the coastal areas. They've been the team giving Peterbot and Jamper a hard time this weekend. Very little room to, I guess, contest here. And Jason Basso are
Haremos un rato para ver si nos compramos una camiseta.
Baiting Jace to run away, allowing Basil to get a couple more shots as he possesses advantage. Pink and Anas doing what they can.
No va a quedar segundo lugar, chat.
Success landing any damage for them. But first you don't succeed, you try again, and with Basil continuously putting out the shots, that's where they're
Pero el chat, ¿dónde está? Pero...
Confiar. Harán cosas chingonas. ¿Cuál? ¿Cómo mataron a Landy? ¿Qué hace construyendo tan alto el Tiandi, güey?
They're being focused by another team in the distance, a big knock there, and they're gonna break all of those, but it's actually Macwood and Kanata looking south, trying to figure out what's going on here. Joe will get the save.
¿Así puede revivir el viejo?
Take a look at how much
Sí, pero ¿cómo lo mataron de tan lejos? Si no hay snipers.
Good question, bro.
Good question, bro, dice. Pero es que a veces unos tienen una puntería desde aquí, desde el lado, desde no sé dónde, y a veces hasta te matan desde tan lejos y después no sabes por dónde viene la bala.
Se rompió una pata.
Que no se lesiona antes del mundial.
Esta
¿Y cuándo
lucha.
empieza el primer partido del mundial?
El 20 creo. Como 10 días, güey.
Poco piojo.
Menos. Como en una semana.
Little by little, we're seeing players like Cold
Poco
really
piojo.
come into his own, finding his own here.
¿Cuál va a ser el primer partido o qué se va a jugar?
De hoy en 8 días.
Story it has been for that player there, but Luis Vino chilling in Shiny Sounds.
Ahora va a buscar mundial, calendario.
At all up here. Hey, we're fine. We have launch pads. We have plenty of heals. We'll be
Nomás busca Qatar, Ecuador.
okay.
Mundial calendario, Qatar, Ecuador es el domingo, después Inglaterra, Irán, Puta, puros bots juegan.
Puros bots. O sea, no yo.
Polonia, no sé. Creo que es el
No, güey. Argentina y México en el mismo grupo, güey. Pobre Argentina, güey.
Él sí se nota que no sabe nada de fútbol.
Pobre Argentina, güey. Ya bailó, güey.
Vamos a hacer un hijo Messi, ¿verdad, Jersey?
Obviamente, güey.
Sí, ¿cómo te vas apenas enterando que México y Argentina están en el mismo grupo, güey?
Pues porque Argentina ya bailó, güey. Pobre Argentina, chat. Pobre Messi, güey. Es su último mundial, güey. Se va a retirar con una derrota.
Pero...
¿Solo?
Como Ochoa le va a tapar todas a Messi, ¿verdad, Jersey?
No tapa. Eso lo de Messi. Messi. Ya, si la última partida para que juegue ya, pues ya. Eso ya se queda así. No de tanto. A ver cuánto. México sí clasificó. Sí clasificó. Esto que también se le puede poner esto, pero yo creo que va a ver medio raro. Pero mejor no lo pongamos porque está medio sucio. Qué rico.
This is crazy. You know what else is crazy? That SMS text that he's sending? It's unencrypted. Other people might see your text just like other people might see that letter. You're kidding. No.
No puedes comer carne, güey, o sea, si no te todo eso, si lo haces, te vas a la cárcel si lo haces.
¿Carne?
Sí, por eso nadie va a ir a Qatar, güey, el mundial. Bueno, carne de cerdo no puedes comer, o sea.
Oh, pues relajado.
¡Vamos!
¡Vamos,
por favor!
coño!
Por favor, Diosito, Diosito.
Sí.
Vamos, coño.
Vamos.
No, güey, pero que mira.
Es que tienen 50,000 splashes también,
Tienen
güey.
todo el boom del mundo, güey.
No, pero ahí nos van a matar.
Está mi lobo, a huevo.
Es imposible que...
No puede ser, güey.
Una mierda.
No puede ser, güey.
Una basura, literal.
No me lo puedo creer, güey.
Se quedó uno de vida Quizzy, güey. Se lo sentaron en medio segundo, güey.
No me lo puedo creer, tío, chaval.
Uy, ¿cómo matan a Pinky no es tan rápido, güey?
Los hacen ver como bots, literal.
Oh, y ahora camisetita agarró una kill también.
Increíble.
No agarraron la kill todavía.
And Brazil must be so proud. KBR and Z have managed to hold.
Y ese es el mejor lugar para usted. Pero es que ellos son demasiado inteligentes, o sea.
Sí, Cami Split es el mejor lugar. Siempre tienen como 5 mesmis. Se quedan arriba del globo y después bajan.
No, y se quedan en zona sacando sus, o sea, ¿qué coño?
Ah.
Tortazo.
Z's gonna feel that one. KBR ditches his teammate.
Qué puto reaction time, yo no le hubiera dado.
La verdad, yo tuviera que estar apuntando más alto, güey, para reaccionar.
Yo le hubiera dado 200.
¿Filo?
Oh, y se mataron a uno.
Ah,
Güey, la zona está bien cerquita y deciden quedarse en tormenta, güey.
Everybody is getting terrorized by Cammy and Seti. Next up, it looks like it might be the TSM duo. NA West, 6-time champion Epic Well. Nate is becoming under pressure as well. Dropped to about half HP. Multiple players taking focus
No
of it
verlos,
as well.
me da
Hands
miedo.
by himself, one elimination,
Puede ser que ya esté
268
muy buena
above the
spot en
damage
zona.
threshold. Slowly falling below.
Pues te
For him,
morido.
it's about finding that spot into zone, going ahead and
Ahí está King, va a pelear King.
the reason why you want to do that is because if
Ahí está
nobody
Sente,
spotted
tío.
you there,
Este
you
Nicole.
want people to know that you are solo.
Fourth place.
No lo veo. Oh, ya.
Next to fifth now. Little do they
Y
know
si no
that
tienen
you have
escudo,
just
mira.
ever so
Pasa un poco con
dangerous
delay y eso es como...
No, güey.
Lo reinicié y no.
Thomas HD are below
El LED está bien tocado, güey. El dúo de King.
No me reinicia el
position
stream.
that's going to force them into a box. If they start to recognize the opportunity that's nearby, it's going to be tough. And here it is. They say, start
Ay,
working our way
ya,
towards
ya,
it.
ya.
We need to get to the edge here. There's only a couple teams there.
Ey, no me carga el stream de Fortnite ahora.
King and Ed are starting to jump into this competition. Wow, and
A la
shots
bestia.
right in.
No
Tripper
way.
is hurt.
Sacrificing some of his own shields just to get the damage, but once again they fall below. 7 at that, just one shot.
Vamos, Face Ray. Pam, 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 pam.
Try to go for everything, but
Estos van-
heads on the
estos
other
van
side
en top
is
4,
solo.
va a morir.
More damage is setting in on the Thomas HD, and now Storm Surge begins to tick.
And sometimes that's all you need right there, and there it is. Tripper looking around in the distance. He's worked his way up. Trulis and Chicho are willing to open up a big
Andy
box.
murió de Surge.
Tripper now has a decision to make. Do you go for the
Oh,
gunfight?
murieron de Surge.
Oh, King mata uno.
And it
Y van
looks
top
like
4.
he takes the
Acaba de
ladder. He's
matar
gonna go
el
ahead
estoy.
and look to survive right now. King and Ed work
Vamos,
their
King, vamos,
way
King.
towards the
Métetele,
loot, and it's a
métetele.
matter
Vamos,
of
vamos,
time.
vamos, vamos.
And it looks like our fourth place
Dale,
team,
King.
Thomas HD, does just
Dale,
enough to
Rey.
win the game.
No.
He falls there, and the look on the camera tells us
No.
that they
No,
are
y fue
Mataron a
Seti.
Sente
Ay,
también.
to fall in
No,
¿Lo
mataron a
mataron
Sente de
o él lo
Akin,
mató?
güey.
Sí, güey.
Like you said, and
Mataron a Sente de Akin.
Scented just
Maldita
down the
sea.
road,
Sí.
punch up big by himself. These are the final 2 games. Every moment matters, including this one right here. Ren is just under pressure from True
Parecer Sente va a quedar top 3,
trying
güey.
to stay alive,
No,
trying to
no,
figure
no.
out a way to stabilize.
Mínimo romper la maldición del top 2.
Surely, but those beasts are going
Mínimo.
over to Chicho and Trulex. One
Vas
by
a ver
one,
que no hay.
and they know that he's by himself. This is theirs for the taking. This is going to be interesting because for them, they also don't want to get too far behind the rest of the lobby when it comes to the zone. They have to make a decision quick.
See how it's going to play out. Looking very tough. Let's go there and watch how Hen falls there. Because now, what this tells us
Ey,
is that
remataron a
things are
Scented.
starting to open up on the standings. Look
No.
at this. Hen finds
Sí,
King,
lo remataron.
walks in, plays for the elimination, and he actually gets that one too. Afterwards, he does go down, so at least he earns some points, but that's going to freeze him
Y
in
Quiz y
time.
Venom todavía
Locking
tienen el
in
mejor dude del
at
mundo.
fifth and open things up.
Hijos de
First,
perre,
second,
güey.
third has
Oh,
so much less to worry
vamos,
about.
mátenlos.
This is by far one of the toughest games
Vamos.
Queasy and Vino have had on the day. And it all makes sense. It's pulled in such a far...
Güey, que es de los juegos más difíciles que han jugado, güey. Tienen 3 patos los vatos, güey. Escopeta morada y R morada. Pobrecito, güey. No sé cómo le van a hacer.
Oh, no tiene escudo al cold, güey.
They might have
Qué
not
asco.
been too prepared for it, but these guys have
Ni
dealt with
más.
almost everything and adapted on the fly. Their flexibility is insane as Cold peeking through, trying to get that information on these players that are
Nadie confía en el Colt.
It's that perfect moment to strike. The True Lex
Yo confío en que el Colt saca un top 10.
battles here, and with Ju going down, I don't think that's a battle he wants to take anymore.
Sí.
Creo que le tocó zona.
Now by himself.
Sí,
Apenitas,
es
güey.
el
Apenita
blanquito.
le tocó zona.
Es el blanquito de ahí al lado.
The competition right now.
Sí le tocó zona,
The
güey. Qué
zone
bueno, güey.
could not be better,
Va a sacar
though.
una
He
kill, güey,
gets the
aquí.
half in, half out. And you
Just
know he
insane.
is so happy about that. You know, sometimes you just need that little bit of favor on your side.
78.
Larson es bien chiquitico.
Wow. Off spawn Grim Gables all the way to here. And that really was the difference maker from last game to this. That damage onto Muzz and Looter really is propelling them this far into the game because they don't have to worry about Surge. All they have to worry about is getting to the front side of the zone time and time again.
It's so crazy. After every tournament, we always look at where was EU, where was NA, who was in the top 10 representation, and we have truly had such a fair balance, a fair representation on the stage here. It's been amazing. All this is going on. Queasy and Vino continue to earn more.
No puede ser, sacaron otra kill.
No, güey.
Un ratito vamos a entrar para ver.
Y otra. Otras dos, güey, no lo creo. Hermanito, gracias por 100 bits. Le di oportunidad a otros, viejo. Gracias por la surrela también.
Try to use as much as your hard mats first before you go ahead and try to use that wood because it's easily destroyable. They can break through it.
Lo bueno que no tienen más, güey.
It's going to be hard to hold. And game number 10 victors are just one box away from Queasy and Vino. That's Clicks. That's Duke. Trying to have some replicated success.
Ahí están Fapti, Snacky.
Under pressure, trying to trade the shot. 600.
A ver si colgamos por acá. De Fortnite. ¿Qué?
Been the most friendly game for them. They might not be in the same position. They might have to adapt, just like Smite and Larson. Trying to adapt, accidentally phases through the build. Luckily for him, nobody was on the inside, but the pressure is there. Larson forced to slow down just a little bit as they continue to fall below the damage threshold, along with Clicks and Duke. They are 61 below, but these guys are scrappy. These guys are fighters. They know how to get the job done.
That's right, and they're in 15th right now, so Clicks and Duke have a chance to fight for top 10. But like I said, I called it. If I know Macwood and Kanata well, I know that they absolutely want to make a statement, but they get chopped down.
¿Cómo que me lo pueden dar?
Janice are the team closest right now, putting the most threat. Textbook plays here
Se
to go ahead and jump
terminó
down, position up, poise up. Cold is still alive, earning points. Queasy goes for height. They said, NA, what? We're up here. Let's do it.
With or without resources, that is their play. Call it their signature move. 5 eliminations, but now they find a way to stabilize. They have done it, Monster. They have secured the high ground and taken it away from Kanata and Macwood. With the launch pad going out, that's going to be recycled for sure. Everybody has to go up and down these terrains. This one, Monster, is a literal roller coaster.
We might see a 3-way fight for height. Bad Sniper Noah, touchdown and go for it. Jamper and Peterbot, they want their win too. Everyone wants a win here today. Bad Sniper gets slapped up by Kanata though on the side. Kanata takes down Vino while he's at it, and just like that, Queasy is left by himself.
And Cold gets another one as well. The solo plays are coming out big, and those are absolutely necessary because he's still in third place. He's still in contention. Cold's trying to do it again. Spots another player out. Finally, his run comes to an end, but he needs so much to get this far. PXN and Kitos trying to do that same thing with Brazil on their shoulders. 4 eliminations, trying to get as many points as possible. Clicks and Duke trying to do the same. We talked about replicating the sex. They're trying to take that high ground away from Ked.
Cammy and Seti are here. 6 eliminations now. High ground looking down. They can get a 4th victory royale. When was the last time you showed up to finals and seen that much? I don't know.
No, Duke. No, poor Duke.
And that is 8 elims for Larson and Smite. They're just showing us why they are a dominant force. Some of the best fighters to rise on this last year. And I'm so happy we get to see it play out on the big stage.
Yep, no Riley taking some damage, sacrificing that so he can get that clean pad, trying to get in the zone. But 19 HP in a dream. Has to find a way to stabilize here, pop those minis, get as much shield as possible as players just continue to drop toward the low ground. Jamper gets dropped. Clicks versus Peterbot here towards the mud. They're trying to do everything they can to stay alive. Larson, we talked about 8 eliminations, but they added 1 more, 9 total. But Smite gets took out, but Larson's there to save the day, taking out Runa.
Already at 10 eliminations, Larson and Smite have fought their way all the way back up. Larson steps the Clicks and puts them
down. Clicks eliminado, bro.
And now We have EU versus NA, but Larson and Smite are hurt. They're damaged. They're down to low material. It's all or nothing right now. Cammy and Seti know what to do here. They've been here before, and they have the resources to hold this one out.
This is going to come down to it. They could get their fourth
Clicks eliminado, solo un kill nomás. Larson 8 kills, no way.
But they find a little bit of loot here. Larson goes for the med kit. He's trying to get as much HP as possible. Seti now starting to run out of material on the high ground. This is it. It's going to come down to nothing or everything here. As he has no mask, great tag there, and a trade, an open exchange. It's not looking good for EU right now. Into the zone they go. Larson,
no, Larson down. No, eliminado. Victory Royale, le ganaron. Cammy and Seti ganó otra vez. Por si acaso, si es que alguno de ustedes también para ver esto, pueden ir a Twitch y les pueden dar una mochila y otras cosas más les pueden dar. Bueno, hasta ahorita les enseño que les pueden dar. A ver, ¿dónde está? Les pueden dar esto, un spray y un backlink de honor de FNCS.
And another victory royale going into the very last game. Seti, what a performance there. It went all the way, but could you see as well on the elimination feed that you were the last team in the top 5 there, still in contention?
Oh, I didn't know.
You didn't know?
Yeah.
Obviously, you can see the points here. Things have changed. Currently 360 points, 12 points ahead of second place.
We still have to be confident, keep calm, and focus on the last game.
The zones as well here, I'll ask you, Cammy. The zones have changed a lot now, aiming more towards the southern side. How does that affect your play at all?
Like, the south zones are so much better for us because it's so easy, so much easier to rotate for us from balloon. So nice.
It's great. A good battle there against Smite and Lars at the end as well. And you guys came out on top. You managed to take the high ground back. How advantageous was it having that high ground?
It doesn't really matter for us because we play low ground just as well as we play high ground. So yeah.
Okay, well, you heard it there, folks. One game to go. Cammy and Seti, everyone! Woo! It's getting hot here, Zeke. I'm excited, man.
For the first time here in the FNCS Invitational, Queasy and Vito are asked to step aside. And it's not even an ask. It's Cammy and Seti kicking in the door and saying, hey, we want first place.
Oh, man. Listen, am I ready to say that Cammy and Seti are a high ground team? Is that what's happening right now? 4 victory royales throughout the Invitational. What is happening? This is a team that is so used to just playing consistently from the low ground, from that mid-ground layer. But you heard it right there, Seti. He said he plays the low ground just as well as he plays the high ground. The preparation for this event must have been insane for them to get this good at high ground.
And we know how excellent they are when it comes to that low ground display. So to see them here at the FNCS Invitational with this high ground debut performance, it has just been an absolute blast to follow along with. But more importantly, it's the composure that Cammy and Seti have just managed to maintain throughout the entirety of these final moments, especially in this instance. It looked as though Smite and Larson, for a moment, were about to get the better end of this trade. But again, Cammy, Seti, they have been in these kinds of situations in the past. They know what it takes to close it out. And I just know for a fact that that kind of mental preparation comes from just multiple reps of running it over and over again. And for 4 victory royales to take place in the same tournament. And they're still maintaining, by the way, because there's only 1 game left. So technically speaking, they have basically closed out on a third of these matches being victory royales.
Take a look at the standings right now. For the first time, Cammy and Seti are holding that #1 spot, but it's only 12 points. If either of these duos make a mistake, look at the rest of the points, man. It will absolutely close. Now, before we kind of talk more about the duos, more about this kind of setting the stage going into this last game, Kelly is standing by. She's with Queasy and she's with Vino right now.
That is right, Zeke. Joining me right now, I have Queasy And Vino, and guys, you gotta talk to me about that game, the early game fight that you had and survived. I didn't think it was possible, but you're able to clutch it out.
A lot of people just fighting around us. This kind of makes it really scuffed. We did manage to clutch out of the game, well, at least a decent amount. Staying Cammy won, which is unfortunate. It comes down to the last game. It's competitive.
It's obviously a bit rough after game 11, having first place for so long, going to second, but it's the final game, final opportunity. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. We'll see what happens, I guess. Not much more to say, but yeah.
Fair enough. I totally understand you guys wanting to focus up right now. And I believe we're going to be moving on, everyone, to talk with Cold and Scented, the team that is currently in third place right now. Hey, guys. How's it going? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks for asking. You know, you guys started or ended off day one in 8th place, moving all the way up to 3rd place right now. How you feeling about that?
I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm hyped. We just figured out our mistakes from yesterday and just didn't make them again today, and now we're doing good.
What's the plan for the final game right now? How are you feeling? What's going through your mind?
We're playing for 3rd. We're playing with sticks and stones while 1st and 2nd has God Luke compared to us. So we're playing for 3rd. Just gonna, hopefully we can keep our lead on Thomas, and that's about it.
All right, guys, good luck in the final game, and let's head on back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for those interviews, getting those raw emotions, getting the thoughts of the players. Now, we just want to take a moment and kind of remind everyone, of course, we're looking for the duo that's going to walk away in that first place, but for everybody else, they still want to place high in this tournament. There's a lot of prize money on the line, so if they can even move up that leaderboard even one space, we're talking thousands of dollars in difference of prize money. But let's go back. Let's focus in on these two teams, Titans at the top, Queasy and Vino. Now, we can't lie, right? That game was kind of insane for them, kind of for a moment there. Finding an elimination, being 200 above Surge, right? They get put in a situation where in Storm, they get pushed, okay? Against Scram and Chimp, and even after that fight, ending with being only above 80 in Storm Surge. How is that even possible?
I mean, playing like that, Queasy and Vino, you know, backs up against the wall, tough rotate for them. They mentioned that a lot of scuff fights going on around them just because the lobby, how it's going to play out throughout these last couple of games. Everybody just wants to fight, right? They want to get as many points as they possibly can. Eliminations being worth 2 points. That's how you got to go for it, for sure. So Queasy and Vino playing well in game 11. About to see what they got in game 12.
Adam, what's this you got?
This is it. The big moment, everybody. Make some noise, please.
No, todavía. ¡Oh! ¡Fracture! Te van a enseñar lo que va a pasar. Se va a llamar el Fracture.
My, oh my, you heard it here first, folks. You gotta jump into Fortnite December 3rd there to catch the end of chapter event. Now, I'd love to talk more about it, but we gotta focus back in on the competition. One last game. Two duos are sitting there, face to face, neck and neck. 12 points separate Queasy and Vino from Seti and Cammy. How can this go down?
This is their moment, though.
Okay, bueno, yo le dejo ir abajo
but as far as Queasy and Vino are concerned, a little reminiscent even of yesterday. Granted, it's not the finals necessarily that's on the line like it was in today, excuse me, for yesterday. But anyway, Queasy and Vino did not have a great showing in Game 4 yesterday. And yet in Game 5, they were able to bounce back and find a victory royale instance. So it doesn't really matter what kind of frustrations this duo might be facing on a game-by-game basis. It's evident that as soon as they enter the next match, as soon as they get that fresh start, they are immediately locked in and prepared to try and make the most of any situation that they're given, because despite all the scuff fights surrounding them, they've still been managing to find consistent points. They've still been managing to stay consistently in that top 2 position to now be vying between themselves and Cammy and Seti for the title of FNCS Invitational Champion. It's definitely still an incredible performance out of these two.
The dream for the players here obviously is the trophy. The dream for me, I want whichever one of these duos is going to win it, I want them on the higher ground, and I want them taking the victory out. I think they both have proven that they can play from the higher ground, so I want it to be decisive in its entirety through Game 12.
I'm very worried, though, right? We just kind of took a look at them a moment ago, cold and scented. It feels like for these two Titans that are kind of have now, set themselves apart from everyone else, cold, scented, Thomas, HD, Tripperin, they're looking to isolate these duos and slow them down at all costs. We've seen cold and scented fight Cammy and Seti time after time, and then there's times where they walk up to Vino. Vino says, whoa, all right, sit back down. There's time where they look at Vino, they go, hey, Vino, no, you sit down. This is being traded back and forth. And it will all come down to a single moment for both of these duos, where it will be made clear one of these two duos is the winner.
Traveled from all around the world, the international stage, $200,000 for first place, a trophy to take home, and it comes down to two teams in the last game. I mean, could we ask for anything better?
Well, maybe in your circumstance, Vivid, as a fellow North American representative, a little tough because it is about first and second place between Europe. I think Europe is definitely established here at the FNCS Invitational that they do have some of the best duos, and one of them is about to find out if they are the best duo in the world right now, at least everybody that's competing here out of these 50 of the best duos. But I love the fact that Seti and Cammy, throughout this entire time, so composed. They have not been going so heavy in the reveling of their celebrations for their Victor Royales, despite the fact that it's happened 4 times over now. They just know and understand we're this far, but we still have more to go.
Yeah, and I think Mini Miner pointed out their Storm Surge strategy. I think the biggest takeaway for this duo is they have not had to deal with Storm Surge. When you go into mid-game, even late game, you're like, yeah, we're 800 above Storm Surge. Cool, man. Do whatever you want. Queasy and Vino have not had that luxury. 200 above, down to 80 above, down to shambles situations, right? This is going to come down to what happens, how this all unfolds, what loot they get. If for Queasy and Vino, they need to do something. They need to ensure they have those Storm Surge tags, and it's not even just to keep up. It's to make sure they have the breathing room to adapt and make the right choices moving into those last few moments of this last game. Here we go, Game 12, almost here. Jacob, MDF. Let's set the stage.
Thank you so much, Zeke. Here we have it, the final game. Let's give it up one more time as we start to gear up for this. It's all or nothing because we get to decide who gets to take this all home.
You got the 2 top players that have won 4 games so far from Become Legends, Seti and Cammy. The other 2 contesting them from the same region. From Tundra, you got Vino. GXR, you got Queasy. And in 3rd place, you heard him in the interview. He's trying to hold on to that spot. From NA East, you got Cold and you got Scented. This is what it all comes down to. The final game, the final moments to take what you have.
That's right. And what a weekend it has been to celebrate international competition here in person with all of you in attendance. We absolutely love to see it. Here we go. One last ride. Let's do it.
50-50 right out of the gates on game number 12, but there's going to be nothing on top for anybody to work with, and they immediately change their routes. They don't want to go ahead and contest the same building where Mr. Savage had that best drop at that time. What is this? What is this? Queasy, Vino are trying to take it by force.
You only win in one way, and that's taking that crown. Vino is here. Queasy is here. Down goes Seti. It's a big trade. It's a one-on-one. This has to be one of the most explosive head-to-heads we have ever seen. Vino has to get this thirst here. He knows now it means everything. We might as well seal this deal. Why wait?
Bubble shield going out. He's trying to bait it. He's trying to bait the revive so that way Cammy might peek. Breaks through the wall. Shot's gonna be fired. And they do it. Become Legends are on top.
Become Legends has officially managed to win the biggest fight of their careers. Cammy and Seti put it all on the table. And you know what? I absolutely respect Queasy and Vino for giving it that chance. The heart of that team is unlike any we have ever seen before. Cammy and Seti have done it.
They have taken it. The point gap is 70 points between them and the next players that are alive, Cold and Scented. Cammy and Seti are your FNCS Invitational champions.
We have never seen anything like this before. Let's put our hands together for at least the number 1 and 2 teams that came into this and got crazy. You have to show them so much love. We have never seen a better head-to-head in person like that ever before. I don't even think we've had that in mind. That was crazy.
They know it too.
They absolutely knew it.
The celebration coming out, the emotion, the passion raining through, and even though they kind of cemented themselves the top spot, they're not happy at all. They wanted that first place spot, but you still got to give Vino and Queasy a huge round of applause for doing what they did all weekend long.
That was the most craziest thing Vino and Queasy could have done, and it just shows you the heart of our competitors, the courage of our players in this space. What a moment. Things are gonna open up now. Scented and Cold walked into this thinking to themselves, hey, we got third. Well, not anymore, boys. You have some room here. The runway is open. The floor is yours. There are still tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, and you put that weight on your shoulders. You allow that to be left to chance. Now we get to see this ride out. What a fight.
Yeah, you talked about that thousands of dollars, still a huge life-changing amount of money to be fought for from our competitors still in the game right now. And that fight's coming down. Hen and Vortex trying to take the high ground away from Joe and Z-Andy. Both players have been playing out of their minds, but you talked about that top spot. Joe and Z-Andy are just right there as well. As they fought down low, they want to try to clean this one out. And you can see our champions still, they don't want to just take part. They want to take over. They want to cement their legacy. And it looks like just winning isn't enough as Joe and Z-Andy, this fight is going to continue. 86 players alive. Everybody is getting more and more busy, more and more proactive because they realize how much money is still on the line. And with the first place team going down and getting overtaken overall, it's going to be a huge moment for a lot of players here today.
Such a big chance now for Joe and Z-Andy to continue to see what they have. But Hen puts the numbers on the mark, and he gets taken down first. Z-Andy with a great elimination there. And all of a sudden, Z-Andy and Joe are the kings of the Flutter Barn. They should be able to finish this one out right now. The tag away, Vortexer gets tagged for 26. Nicely done there. Here comes the edits. All they got to do is coast, right? This is still a big moment here. Vortex was in 5th place. If they go down now, that's it. Joe and Z-Andy have room to start jumping back into a top 10 as well.
Yeah, and we talked about it. You talked about one being in 5th place. You got Joe and Z-Andy in about 14th place to start this game off, but Lucy and Hi Joe still having to want to have a great performance as well. But you can see they're just looking in the distance, trying to see if this vault is looted or not. Finally going to go ahead and get in. You can see them kind of checking their angles. They're still wanting to go ahead and change their lives with the amount of money that's still up for grabs. Thomas, HD, and Trippin battling for 3rd place against Scented and Cold. They still have an opportunity at some money.
Thomas, HD, Trippin working their way around right now, really looking around. And just one more time, the standing shows you what is on the line here for our competitors. Thomas, HD, Chrome Jam Junction, what are they doing here? What will they do? King and Ed are also just lurking about.
Towards the low ground, you got Brazil versus EU. High ground, you got EU as well. Traumas and Trippin just trying to wait for that perfect moment. They could have taken the shots on the King long ago, but they're just waiting and biding their time to try to go ahead and take out the same player at the same time, but it looks like they're baiting that opportunity if any of them dares comes up to the top of that building and tries to take that balloon as an exit out. Just hovering over them, surveying. Patience is a virtue, and for Thomas, HD, and Trippin, that battle for 3rd could come down to a moment like this. You bite off more than you can chew, you go down early, you lose out on that opportunity, and you got Muzz, Alice, both of them getting a little bit more active in this game, and overall, game number 12 is going to be a menace.
And they're still lurking about here, looking for anything. Meanwhile, the rotates are going through. Let's jump on back over to Joe and Z Andy right now, who are trying to close out this duo, but no, they don't manage to find it. Somehow, Vortex is just slippery enough. And you know what? That gives him a chance. He has a chance at still holding on to 5th place. 6 is down. 7th is down. Smite and Larson did not do it.
That's unfortunate. The only teams right on the cusp as well is team from Brazil, Quitos and BH. They still have a chance to jump up. Some big placements as well. I'm looking at them, about 221 points. And in Vortex, you talk about them sitting in 5th place, 239 points. So it's still within grasp. As Cammy said, he just feeling it from all over the lobby. They already know they won, but they don't want to just stop playing just because of that. They want to get as many points as possible. They want to open that gap wide open, so that way when that legacy is cemented at the end of game number 12, they can say, we just dominated everyone in the world of Fortnite.
Things are going to settle here. The dust settles for Sentin and Cole. They have the elim that they need to go ahead and step their way closer and closer to that prestigious 2nd here. But of course, they have a lot of work to do as well. That will probably come off the backs of a super high placing game. So there's a massive, massive uphill battle that they still will have to perform. Tripper and Thomas HD are looking to catch up to Cold and Sentin. That's their task here.
See the high ground right now. They're trying to take the shots. They see somebody trying to fly through the sky using the Rift, and that might be a decision they might regret because you have 2 of the most accurate players aiming at you to take you down. Vortex is going to be that lone player alive, and it almost makes me wonder if he has that reboot card, he could make magic happen, but it all depends. And that's a big if, and you can kind of see it spotted out. He's trying to go to the slower side of zone, or the slower side he thinks that would be.
And this is a good move for him to go ahead and just keep a low key. Meanwhile, Peterbot and Jamper are like, hey, we got a lot of zone here in front of us. What do we want to do about it? They go ahead and double on back. They get themselves 2 eliminations there, possibly onto Pink and Anas there on the outskirts of the zone. This is a fight that's been raging on. Pink and Anas officially lose the opportunity to break towards top 10. They were getting so close, and unfortunately now fall short. What's crazy about Seti and Cammy now, they have 2 options here. Ruin this lobby, take everyone's chances, and play because they have nothing to lose at this point.
Great reboot coming out from Vortex and Hen. 5th place right now, trying to squeeze themselves in and past Thomas HD and Triprin. But that's going to come and be needed for them to have a fantastic game if that's going to be the case. So that for them, it's just holding on to that 5th place spot. If they spot out Vico, trying to take some height, immediately target him and trying to take him down. But when it comes to the HP, they have none. They have no ability to try to regain it. Vortex under pressure. Moraine is trying to go ahead and end one. As Vortex, the high ground is going to be fought for. Not going to have any success there. Quickly build towards his backside so he can't get knocked down, but Hen does. There it goes. Vortex back to the lobby. Vico and Moraine are going to stand tall.
What a big moment for them. If only they could have done that in game number 9, where they were taken out and they lost all that momentum. They were just quite literally moments away from maintaining, but Vigo and Moraine now have a real chance to also continue to march their way on up to top 10. The points are so close as you start to see who was eliminated. 5th, 6th, 7th, down and out. PH and Quitos have an exceptional opportunity to represent for their entire region here.
They can steal away. Look
I can hear them from here.
5 points for 7th place, 14 for 16. This is literally within reach. They can make the run of a lifetime and put Brazil on the map when it comes to Fortnite.
You have to respect the entire Brazilian region.
They won't go down. They won't be denied.
They are just so good. They have stepped up. They have performed. They have given us such a show. Cloud and Refsguard now, though, have to play defensive here. This is the first time we've seen a far northeast zone like this, so this is going to get very dicey for most of the lobby. If you were, and I hate to say it, Vino and Queasy, you would have quite literally had the zone here.
That'd been something you love, but business as usual when it comes to Cammy and Steady. Staying as far back into zone. They make sure they got all the Storm Surge they need. They started the game off, taking down Queasy and Vino. So this is just all bonus at this point as they continue to hold their spot. Not wanting to let that team below survive because like we talked about, they have nothing to lose at this point. Janice and Fadil have everything to gain as it does look like they're finally going to try to get out. Thomas HD goes down to Alice. Trippin and Thomas got their game on the run, but Cammy goes down to Janice. Oh, back to back. That's going to be huge for Janice and Fadil, taking out your FNCS Invitational champions. So now with first place going down, it's going to be all about the money for everybody else left in the lobby.
That is what's on the line here. Tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars is still at play. Don't forget, everyone here was invited for the chance at, of course, the trophy, but the money too. There's so much to fight for and the respect of the region, which we already know. So many have earned throughout the course of this week, and that's what these shows are all about. Putting new names and new faces on the map as they put in all that hard work while I'm sleeping, trust me.
Marion's going to take down Fadil, so it looks like Vico went down as well early on. I did see that one, so it's going to be Janice versus Marion that far back in zone. And honestly, that's just a few plays for both of them. You really want to try to survive there as Booga finally goes down. Joe FN is going to get the spoils of that one, even though he doesn't get credit for the elimination overall. Strippin's just trying to survive, biding his time as that solo. For him, everything comes down to this because he's only a few points away from third place.
Let's watch that one more time. Your FNCS Invitational champions fall here to the hands of Janice and Vadil. With a beautiful tag. He just opens things up for himself and he makes it look easy. And then the guts on that kid to go all the way up. Cammy has said he know better than to fall like that. But it is what it is. You can't be perfect all the time.
That's going to be trying to get as close to it as possible. Found in Refstar, they got themselves a great spot in the center of the zone to where there's very few players around. And when it comes to this zone, it pulls yet again to the northeast. This one's going to be a struggle from everybody on the southwest part of the zone to try to find their way in. There's 30 duos left alive. And for Joe and Z Andy, 1,500 above the damage threshold, hunting down another team, Lucy and Hydro. For them, it's all about the Benjamins. They want to continue to rack up that points. Breaking through the box, Joe and Deanne getting yet another angle. They know they have one player weak. They know he's at least going to try to heal. And now, as they go ahead and let that player and team try to stabilize, they're going to use that as a way to go around them and in front of them to the zone and try to hold them out of it.
Let's see if they can continue to do just that. Smart play is all that Joe and Z Andy need in order to make this top 10 and earn themselves so much more.
Joe, dale, Joe y Andy,
but
dale.
Of course, there's a big task in front of you. See the names starting to house up here. Scented and Cold know what they have to do too. King and Ed are just housed up nearby.
King, dale King. King sí se puede.
That box, I'll tell you right now.
Se puede King.
I would want to enter as Cold and Scented have one elimination so far. Not having to worry about Storm Surge until now, but they know there's one team behind them. Gathering that information, trying to figure out what that plan is going to be, and you can see a lot of our top competitors from around the world all boxed up, just waiting for that next zone, which is going to come in just a few seconds, and let's see who's going to get that reward. It's actually going to be a good portion of the lobby. This is actually a good zone for everybody here to try to make it way in, except for maybe one or two teams.
That is right. This north side is starting to become very contentious here. Muzz and Looter walking up, Trippin and Thomas.
Bueno, todos aquí se termina el directo. Espero que les ha gustado lo que hemos estado viendo del FNCS segundo día. Pues ahí nos vemos en otro directo. Chao.